So we're going to talk about why sometimes that you might feel anxious with absolutely no reason whatsoever. And sometimes this can be a build-up from things that have happened earlier on in the day that you hadn't even realised. And so what I've done is I've written some sections out so I don't miss things. So it helps you when these moments happen. And it gives a reason why. So if you understand why it's happening, then it's easier in that situation. When it happens again, you're like, okay, this is happening because of this. I don't need to feel like this right now because that was from that earlier. And sometimes that's enough to settle the anxiety in that moment, because then you're able to breathe because you understand why it's happening. And a lot of the time it's just because we don't understand what's happening that can make it worse. So why do I feel anxious for no clear reason? Sometimes it's just unsettling. Nothing bad is happening, so why do I feel this way? So that's the part. So anxiety isn't always logical. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense, and this is what we're going to break it down. Okay, so anxiety is your way of protecting yourself. So if you think back, it was something that protected us, like from caveman, anxious, it means fear. Something's close, I need to be alert. But we're not cavemen anymore. But unfortunately, that is still part of our brain that processes in that way at times. It's designed for you to notice anger, but sometimes it becomes overactive. When that happens, your body reacts as if something is wrong, even when everything is fine. This can lead to racing heart, tight chest, restlessness, or a constant sense of worry without a clear reason. I've experienced it. I was on tablets for years because of it. And also because I had an overactive thyroid, which didn't help with the anxiety, that actually made it worse. So sometimes it's your thyroid that needs checking out, because that can produce your heart to race and things and increase your anxiety. So I was on tablets for a long time, 7 years in fact, for that, because they couldn't get my thyroid under control, which has since been removed and dealt with. And the anxiety is so much less after having that removed. So built up stress can surface later on. You can be doing something and your brain will just start to reprocess it. So even if you're not stressed right now, past pressure can still affect you. School demands, social expectations. Social expectations was very much one of my triggers, because I thought I've never really dressed the same. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I really stand out. And then I would fight my own who I was against the social norms. And I'm like, no, this is me and I'm allowed to be me. I'm allowed to dress exactly the way I want to dress. So I had to reassure myself. And that took a long time. That doesn't happen overnight. That's a lot of practice doing that. Family issues, ongoing worries can slowly build up in the background. When your mind finally slows down, that stored stress can come out as anxiety, and just out of nowhere. It can be something that you walk by, that your eyes caught, that can just trigger your brain into an association. It could be an item of clothing, it could be a smell, it could be absolutely anything that would trigger those thoughts. And we can't control that, but we can control how we react. And that's what this is about. It's how we react. It's not what we can control. We can't control what we see in the shops. We can't control what we smell when we're outside. We can control how we deal, how we process after this. So your body might notice before you do: lack of sleep, irregular meals, too much screen time, constant stimulation, which that can make it worse. You need to let your mind rest. Your body and brain are closely connected. So when your body is tired or overwhelmed, your emotions can often follow, even if you haven't consciously noticed the cause. Again, the subconscious mind. So overthinking plays a big role, a massive role in this. Sometimes anxiety comes from thinking too much about the future or replaying the past. For me, it was more about replaying my past that would trigger things, as a thought of, oh my God, somebody said something horrible to me years ago about what I was wearing. And then that'll trigger an anxiety. Like if I'm clothes shopping, it'll trigger that anxiety. I tend to not buy much out in the shops because I like things that are very different. So I do tend to do a lot of online shopping because I can generally find more stuff, and it does cause less anxiety for me as well because it stops the overthinking process, because I have time to sit there and look at something. Do I really like it? Don't I? Rather than the pressure to buy it in shop. So that helps me. So that could be a way forward for yourself. But you have to remind yourself as well, it's okay, I'm not in any danger, I'm allowed to look at this and go away and then come back tomorrow if I need to. Sometimes anxiety comes from thinking too much about the future or playing the past. Even subtle thoughts like, what if I mess up? Or what if something goes wrong? Can keep your brain stuck in this loop, creating anxiety without a single clear event. So what can help? So you don't need to figure everything out for it to feel better. Like, we're human, you can't figure out everything all the time, but we can put steps in place to help within the moment. So simple steps can help. Slow your breathing. So remember to inhale slowly and exhale through the mouth. Remember to breathe deep into your stomach as well, because this is where we hold the anxiety. So we need to breathe deeply and let it out slowly to release that anger from the stomach. So spending time away from screens, getting enough rest. It's so important to get enough rest. Talking to somebody you trust. Sometimes it helps if you bring along somebody to help slowly implement these steps. Like if your anxiety is really bad, bring somebody along that can help distract you and things like that, make you feel more comfortable. And in those moments, remind you to just breathe. Reminding yourself that anxiety is a feeling, not a fact. Anxiety is not a fact, it is a simple feeling. And although it doesn't feel simple, once you've learnt the steps and you've implemented them, the anxiety eases so much more. But you have to implement the steps to help you when you know you're going to struggle at your worst. So sit and think, okay, these are my worst times. What do I need to do? It could be setting an alarm on your phone. So when you know you've been out for an hour, that alarm goes off with your reminder to breathe. So I have a reminder every day to breathe. And I set it at about 1 o'clock every day because it's kind of halfway through my day-ish. Sometimes it's not. But it reminds me at that point to take a step back for a moment and just take a moment just to breathe and reset myself. So feeling anxious for no clear reason doesn't mean you're weak or broken. It means your mind is trying to cope with something, sometimes quietly, sometimes imperfectly. With understanding and support, that feeling can become easier to manage, which it can. I know it can because I've done it, and I had to do it because I mostly live on my own. I spend a lot of time on my own. So I needed to make sure that I had things in place that when those moments hit, I knew how to deal with it. And that becomes a habit, which then helps when these things happen. Okay, so do the things that you need to do. Put your alarms on, have somebody with you, set daily reminders to help yourself in moments of high anxiety.